What's up guys, it's the Devil's Talent here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how XTRA verT dominated NA West en route to a first place performance in the solo FNCS Grand Finals. But before I get into this video guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so this is first moving zone. And this is really good utilization of the crash pad, just double crash padding to get all the way from far side to all the way ahead. And now he can look back for picks. Unfortunately, AR ammo is going to be an issue, so he ends up not getting any frags through this. But look at his mat utilization. I like the decision. He uses his hard mats early on. And I feel like that's really, really smart in these super stacked lobbies. Because once you get in these super congested areas, you have lots of old builds. You want to make sure that you're as protected as possible to protect from crash pads on this stuff. Does a really good job of utilizing the crash pads. He is also getting coached switch to brick. His using movement items is so huge to maximize placement. It's something you have to be extremely good at and get good practice at. And your goal is you always want to be more aware when you're crash padding of where you're landing. You want to make sure that you're either building or charging up a charged shotgun shot. But here was great. See, this would be a great layer right here. Notice that he just gets ahead, waits. I love the decision again not to key. He doesn't really need anything. He has the mats. Good conserve tarp. A little misstep right here, which ends up getting him thrown all the way to ulti low. But because he's so ahead, it's really not that huge of a deal. Yeah, the comms from whoever's coaching, there's not a lot of people on low ground. And there really isn't, which is fortunate for him. Sometimes low ground is just super congested, but in this case it wasn't. Shooting out crash pads to kind of make it harder for whoever shambles to rotate. Notice how he's just playing very, very slow. No kills, right? But just maximizing that placement. Notice how he immediately goes to dead side, so he's hugging that zone. Again, gets rid of all of that congestion. And allows him to basically just tap. He gets a nice little pickup there, finally getting a kill. He gets in right here. But notice his opponent is holding a charged shotgun versus a green tax. Probably going to lose that engagement. Only 2 builds, so again, not much you can do here. He's really maximized what he's had, and that's all you can really ask for. And you're going to take a top 10 performance every time. Attack hitting so hard there for 37 and 17. Finally getting a decent shot with 56, but he has no mats. Does a great job. That was really smart to protect from that ramp, but he ends up getting pinched. That's really, really good. Maximizing everything you have, which is all you can ask for. So again, we're in first moving. And he's waiting. So again, when you're using your launch pads on first moving, you want to wait till the storm is right on you to maximize the full length. And immediately heads. He goes immediately to dead side where there's no congestion, nothing to worry about. And he's extremely ahead. He can now sit here and look and then crash pad in. Unfortunately, there's not really a ton of picks for him. He gets really blessed with a crash pad right here. Allows him to save one, and he gets up to a way better lair. And immediately tarps in, and you notice using his hard mats first. He was also on height, but I don't believe he has the mats to take it, so he's just content to kind of sit here and not worry. I like the decision. I don't think height with his loadout is that advantageous. A little bit scuffed on the crash pad here, but a good utilization, good awareness to use the crash pad to immediately get back where you want. Boom. You notice how he's so ahead. He's one thing that I want to take away from just watching him. He's constantly ahead. He uses all of his movement items. He could have possibly used that crash pad, but decides not to. Gets a good crack again looking back, but he's again going to do the same thing. Just crash pad. The use of the storm is always on his back. He's only having to worry about 1 or 2 directions. Good lair flip. Boom, he gets in. So the comms to pop your big, I don't think it's that big a deal because he's getting only 14 HP. And he may do it later, but he doesn't have the mats right. He wants to be as healthy as possible. So I see why. The comms for that. It makes 100% sense. Good crack. A little bit better shots there. Net in elimination. Still constantly get ahead. Drops to ultimate low. Which again, he's on the uncongested part because he's ahead. And again, he's already sitting in another top 10 with no elimination. Misses a shot there, right? And this just shows you what place we could do. Look at how free this is. He's the only person on low ground, so he gets in. Person gets taken out. Unfortunate. You could have used that health refresh. So comms to go get the mats, not necessarily good. He immediately realizes that he will not have the health to survive if he does go for that. Takes one tick for the mats. And he's really gotten to that top 5 threshold. He's maximized once again. Boom. Gets a nice little pickup on wheels. And gets a 1v1. And he actually gets killed by another extra member. No surprise, Caleb's pop-off game that he had. He placed 10th. But again, 1 kill, 2nd place. Look at that. So 2 kills thus far in the competition, but 2 top 10 placements and 1 top 5. Again, noticing using that hard early in these first movings. Immediately gets ahead. Unfortunately does not get that, but again, decides not to overcommit to the key. So again, placement is much more valuable. Cone peeking. This guy tries to jump into his box. He said that kid's horrible. Gets a good amount of refresh. He has a decent amount of mats, and immediately notice again right to the edge of zone. Immediately hugs it. He's got a decent amount of mats, already in a top 25, and zone pulls pretty much his way. I like the decision here to just back off. Like, again, just keep doing what you've been doing, getting ahead this whole entire time. And here's what's great. Again, he kind of already made that tarp coming here that way. Again, using his hard early as opposed to wood. Even replacing the floor right there. Good awareness. Yep, still get good placements. Boom, immediately ahead. And he's protected. Little 2-box for space. To look for a refresh. Only gets 1 little tag. Great piece control right there. That was so good. Catching that opponent. Now gets a little bit of a refresh. Nothing too insane. But just good awareness. He takes this pad. Which again was good because now he can again focus on protecting, getting ahead. He can pop heals. He just needs 1 more person to fall for top 10. Great job waiting right there for that opponent to go through. So now he gets that top 10. Doesn't have a lot of builds. It's a huge crack. Hits a crash pad, which makes things a little bit awkward. But again, he milks it into a top 5. He gets crash padded in the air. Nothing you could do. Maximized another top 5, but this time with more eliminations. So 2 top 5s and a top 10. He is absolutely popping off in this endgame. His audio is a little bit desynced. It's a nice little free, little laser. It's a nice little laser. It's a decent amount of mats off of that. Decides to go for attack over the charge, which is common among pros. So 2 crash pads is the first moving. But he gets a good crash pad right here due to de-elevation. So again, he's going to sit here, wait, and then go. But doesn't realize where he doesn't want to be. And this is why double crash padding is so good. Now he's on a much better layer and he's in. These early moving, you want to play more elevation if you can. Absolutely destroys Epic Whale right there. Oh my god. Nice little cone, gets him picked, and that's such a huge refresh. Look at his mats now. It goes up the hill. He can use a little bit of mats. And because he's got glider, he can just continue to fly around wherever. Good turn right there. Good awareness to turn right there. He can look back for picks because of now picking up that grappler gun. He can go wherever he wants. Look at this. Just slides right in. Gets to a really, really good lair. And Stink's endgame, man, you can't lie. They're pretty strong endgame when everyone's shambles. It's the first insinuation I've seen this. This is really, really good. Just absolutely destroyed Frat Pie right there. Just trapped him in the cone, edited down, hit the shots. Now he's got even more mobility with the pepper. But unfortunately gets shot out right there, but it's okay. Does a really good awareness to make sure to get up. Gets a crack. He has a really good amount of mats. And then look, he's ahead again. Thanks to that pepper. Goes for extra bots for space for less congestion. Really good movement. He realizes that the zone is going to be coming his way. So he's gifted free height. And so he's coached to use the stinks. And he ends up getting 1 kill with the stinks. He's at 7 kills. He's having a pop-off game. Connects to the old builds. So only 2 players left. Gets a good amount of tags on that opponent coming up, which is so huge in endgame. Love the decision. 2 people left. Wait to 1v1 and drop. Gets a huge crack on shield. He doesn't have a ton of materials. His opponent obviously is going to get whatever mats with that refresh. But he knows he's at health advantage. So continue to play the height until absolutely have to drop. And he jumps down. Hits 2 good shots. And that's the GG's. That won him the tournament. That huge pop-off game. So a victory royale, 2 top 5s, and a top 10. So really just showcasing the placement. Getting ahead is the reason why he's so successful, and great utilization of the movement items that he does have. Let's talk about this last couple games, because he ends up having his 2 worst games late. So someone psychos into his box, crash pads. Gets 1 mini off, extra box for space. Really good movement right there. Got a gold tack and 4 crash pads. That impact was so huge right there. So he gets more movement. Gets a max zone. Unfortunately threw it a little bit too late. And so you see kind of the first mistake you see that he uses with the movement items. If you threw it earlier, you would have probably landed more clean and got exactly. But he recycles a couple of them and gets to ultimate low. And so he has no more movement, barely any materials. And low early is scuffed, and that's why you're going to probably see him have his worst game in terms of placement. He gets in. There's 2 kids chilling in a box. And then really good shots on that kid. It gets into a nice layer, gets nice and established. But again, no more movement. Unfortunately, that crash pad kind of makes things super congested. You're going to see what happens sometimes. And then he gets psychoed in a box with a nice harpoon play by Nate. And so, again, if he had... The one mistake he did make there was that crash pad. He just threw it a tad bit too late. And so when he landed on the crash pad, he hit the front of the wall. If he threw it earlier and looked down earlier, he could have landed on a bounce, gotten to a better layer with less congestion where people cycle into his box. But again, a decent game. 2 kills, 34th. Alright, so now this is 5th zone. But look at his situation right now. He has barely any materials. Gets a huge kill, and you're going to see how huge that kill is, as well as this kill. So that is the kill. That makes the difference for the gap. That wins him the tournament, as well as surviving here using mobility, because then look, only 100 materials, no movement items, no AR ammo, a very shambles situation. His goal should be to just get to 40. He has 1 box. He's very fortunate his opponent right there does not key him right there. He needs to live 1 more. And he backs off away. And he's hit the 40 threshold. He has no mats. And he gets killed on the scuff low ground. As you can see, low ground early is not the wave. You want to make sure to be mid or on high ground, usually if you have the mats. But really good stuff from Vert. An Endgame clinic, again, as 4 of the 6 games were top 10 performances, and we're going to show you the end result of his tournament. And due to his very good understanding of Endgame and movement item utilization, he ends up being the probably best overall player on West, which is Arkram, by 2. And then, as you can see, another extra member, Caleb, sitting there at 34th. So GG's to Vert, and just the overall takeaway is using the mobility items to get him ahead. Really good understanding of that. I like that the utilization of hard mats early as opposed to late. And again, he wants to use the hard early to maximize how long he stays alive, and then staying away from low ground if at all possible. He did see one game where he got dropped down to low ground, but was fortunate enough to be ahead where he didn't have to worry about it, and he had the mats. But low ground is usually pretty congested early in these first moving zones. So again, staying on those mid layers with crash pad utilization is usually going to ensure that you're not getting as psychoed as much, and you're going to prolong your game and get the maximum amount of placement. And the clinic he put on, again, was the movement items, the crash pads, the launch pads, picking up their grappler gun, using the peppers. He used the holy, quadfecta of movement to prolong his games, get those placement points. I mean, look at his average placement sorry, I apologize, that is Arkram's. He has it clicked on him, but he definitely probably had even a higher average placement just with how well he played early on. But that is going to do it for the video, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like on it, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.